Hello and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to take you on a journey of reflection by asking you three questions on how you spend your day and to see yourself what are the triggers in response to those questions and what solutions you can set to take your life back into your hand. So, what makes you busy? What makes you people please and then later resent? The third question, what overwhelms you? We live in a world that constantly demands us to perform, to play small, to seek validation from others. This desire to compete with others makes us abandon a part of ourselves, the part perhaps the most important for our growth. So, how do we start prioritizing our needs and start living life with intention? Again, I'm going to ask you through questions. Do you find yourself constantly thinking about the next work while still working on something? How do you feel about yourself when you find that part of the planned lists for the day were not completed? Do you work constantly to be busy, rushing from one task to another? Or do you pause and breathe to ask yourself, why am I doing this work? What is the motive? What is the intention? When the intention for doing anything is pure, it becomes rooted on truth, not on competition, not on performance. That doesn't create unnecessary pressure and anxiety. The second question, what makes you people please and resent? Do we allow the people in our life to walk on our head, to disrespect us, and yet say nothing about it? Then we are lying to ourselves. We can't accept any form of self harm when we are true to ourselves. We don't accept self harm when we are true. And then later, resenting is a second self harm. Not holding ourselves accountable to address challenges and problems, to walk away from disrespect, from evil, from harm, that is self neglect. When we constantly neglect ourselves, abandon ourselves, a part of us suffers unseen, unloved. When we are people pleasing, we are neglecting this part of us. So the solution is doing self care routines, therapy, connecting with God, rooting our desire for safety and security on God instead of on people. People come and go. Circumstance sometimes they are in our favor, sometimes other times they are against us. We lose our properties, we lose a job, sometimes we lose our health. If our safety and security is dependent on something we don't have any control, on people, on circumstance, we are lying to ourselves. So we need to start making some change and build a relationship that is rooted on truth with ourselves and with God. By shifting from people pleasing to God pleasing, we become people who walk away from disrespectful situation without making drama. We get the strength, the courage to walk into the unknown with faith. We develop we get an identity that doesn't shake in the storm. An identity rooted on truth, not on layers of lies. The scripts that we have been handed, that we have been programmed to believe, gave us a false identity, one that crumbles in pressure. But by returning to God, by returning to our truest, authentic self, we can rekindle our truest identity. We can build a healthier relationship with ourselves, with God, by starting to feel deeply and think clearly. We can change everything for better. And what overwhelms you? When you find yourself overwhelmed, do you go grab a phone and scroll on Facebook or TikTok? If you are doing that, that's a self harm. Self care or self control is not about eliminating anxiety. It's not about eliminating problems. It's about pausing in those moments and prioritizing. We are overwhelmed because we have the desire to want to handle everything all at once, to be all over at once, which is impossible. But by noticing what is overwhelming us, by avoiding distraction when we are overwhelmed and sitting in stillness, talking to ourselves, taking care of ourselves, breathing, we can create a space inside of us where we start making better choices. When we distract ourselves, we are still making a choice, but that choice is a bad choice. So let's start embracing parts of us that we left abandoned. Let's start loving us whole. And let's start slowing down. Let's start living with intention by asking questions that matter. Let's start a life rooted in truth, rooted on pleasing God, and rooted on never accepting self harm and evil. Thank you for watching. If you find this valuable, click on subscribe, like, and share for more. Drop your comments down below answering those questions. I would like to hear from you how you address these problems.